All right. Good morning, everybody. Today we have Natascha Hardee with us. Reason I brought Natascha on is she is a sexability coach. Basically, she works with women, 50 plus, to help reclaim their confidence and their sexiness. Although, before we go too much further, I think it would be helpful, Natascha, if you could actually define for people what is sexability.
Oh, absolutely. And happy Wednesday. Well, good morning to everyone who's here. And thank you for having me on your show, Jonathan. So, sexability is a sexy, confident, fulfilled 50 plus woman living her purpose out loud. She's a mentor and well respected in her family and her community. She affirms her beauty, enjoys romance, of course, and she exudes wisdom. And as a sexability coach, my job is to bring women into that space who are struggling to get there and want to be there. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, thanks so much. The reason I'm having Natascha on here today, of course, is that when it comes to getting comfortable on camera, for a lot of people, having a negative view of their body is a big part of what holds them back, right? Whether it's, I'm too wrinkly, I'm too ugly, my hair's not right, I'm way too much. There's a million ways that you can be unhappy with your body, but that's a big thing that holds a lot of people back. So I'm having Natascha on so we can just have a conversation about that a bit more, understanding where that comes from and why that's a struggle for people, talk about getting in the right mindset and get the right mental, state, and then even talk about physical steps you can take, right, and changes you can make to your life to try to grow and cultivate that confidence and that, positivity about your body over time. Because for a lot of people, that is their biggest barrier to using video is that. So very much excited for this conversation, Natascha. I think just to start off, one thing I'm curious about, I guess we all take for granted the fact that there's a ton of people out there who don't like their body, et cetera. But why is it, do you think that is so important to so many people? When you think about it just purely logically and rationally, that has some value, but it really shouldn't carry the weight that it does for so many people. So why is it we all care so much about what our body looks like?
I believe most of it comes from society and the issues or this whole image that society paints in at least in our culture about being so perfect, being the right height, being the right weight, uh, and their description of what beautiful is. And I feel like everyone wants to be attractive. Everyone wants to be attractive. But to answer your question, it's society. And then we take it in and then we're regurgitating it back out the best way we can. And then it's always this, I'm not enough, or it's not enough, or, I'm not tall enough or thin enough, or whatever we create, because we're interpreting what society puts out there for us, correct?
Mhm.
Society is interpreting that to us. So then that plays a huge role in it.
Yeah. Here's something I'm curious about, and hopefully I do a good job wording this question. You know, when we all think about this perfect image of beauty that society presents to us, right? It's, the perfect standard of beauty is typically when you're young, right? You picture somebody in their 20s, right, maybe 30s as being at the peak of their physical attractiveness, and that's kind of what is presented to us through advertising and through movies, et cetera, as being the perfect thing that you should strive for. So when you're fairly young, like myself, it definitely feels like you want to live up to that. Um, do you find that society's putting the same pressures on people in their 40s, 50s, or 60s that they still have to be beautiful to be valuable? Or do you think it's just like maybe leftover from, the first 30 years of their life, they picked up those messages, the first 30 years of their life, they internalized those messages, and then they're still left over? Or do you think they're actively being reinforced throughout life, even as you age?
Okay, so that was there was three questions in there. So to answer the first question, which is why does it shift, or does it shift the society put the same pressures on people who are in their 40s, 50s and above? I do not feel that society does put that pressure on people in their 50s and above, because society in this culture has chosen not to see
Hmm.
women specifically after 50. And so it's not there. And women who, as they age, their focus is to be seen, to be acknowledged, they're being overlooked when they go in the store, or if they ask a question, they're ignored. People don't look at them the same, value them, even value women or what they have to say in this particular culture. And I do believe that well, for me, I'm 57, and people always tell me I look quote unquote good for my age, or I look younger for my age, and that, so I don't experience that in a way that someone who actually quote unquote looks 50. I don't know what that means, or 55 or 50, even my age. But what I do know is when you're living your life, when you become 50 or above 50, there comes a part in this process. I'm not really sure when it happens, but it's like you really don't give a crap about what other people are thinking. So there's a lot less of caring about what society or people think when you have a more wholesome look at yourself. And on top of that, there are people who, when they cross 50, they decide life is over and I'm just going to be old. And I don't subscribe to that. And I don't feel that anyone should subscribe to that. You have a whole, if you're 50, we're predicted to live until we're in our 90s. I have a client that's 87 that I train fitness wise twice a week. She's a woman and she's very vibrant. So if you have another 37 years in you, you're going to just be old for 37 years? That's nuts. You have 50 years of life experience that you can now sit in front of you and look at it. You got a whole nother 30 years of life in front of you. You can take all your experience and live the life you've always wanted.
Yeah.
So yes, some of it is residue from younger years. And no, because some people get into this, I don't really care about what society think. I'm going to live my life. I don't care what people think. And then you got the people who choose to be old. So it's a mixture of things.
Yeah, that is interesting. I'm also wondering, you know, what maybe the difference between different people is, right? You mentioned those two different groups, people, who choose to be old and people who choose to, live vibrantly. And I even think, there's obviously differences in people, the way people experience their bodies, right? So, I'm curious, let's do a little thought experiment here, right? Imagine you got two people who in their younger days have very similar bodies, and as they age, keep similar bodies and go through similar changes. What is it that might give one person a really, really negative experience with their body throughout their life? And why would another person not have that experience and experience either their body as a neutral, or maybe even experience their body as a source of pride and power? What's kind of going on in the minds of those two different people that makes that outcome different, despite the fact that they have the same or at least similar bodies?
It's very interesting you ask that question, because I was uh, I was just in conversation or in a training where it said you have two people that have the very same experience. It could be two negative experiences, right? Let's say an abusive family. Two kids grew up in the same household, same experience. However, one interprets the experience as a life lesson, and how do I learn from this and build myself up, and the other becomes victimized by it, and so their experience in life tends to be downtrodden, so they may turn to drugs or alcohol or whatever, just have a not really even progress very far in their life, right? The other one aspires and really makes a successful life, because it's the perspective. And that's what you're speaking about, is a person's perspective. One person might choose to just look at their body and their life based on their perspective, based on their life experience, as something negative. The other one may choose to look at their body from a positive perspective. I am here now with where I am, and I'm 20, and this is where I am. I'm 40 and I've put on some pounds, and I'm going to be okay with that. And I'm just going to maintain a healthy lifestyle. I'm going to make some alterations and continue on with that. And then move forward. Continue to always be with the authentic aspect of themselves. Whereas someone who may have interpret their body as being, whatever, something negative. It's not this enough. It's not that enough. It's not thin enough. It's not tall enough. It's not whatever enough. And they continue to live in this not enough conversation about their body. They never get present. They're always looking at where they were or where they want to be, but not where they are in this particular moment, and appreciate their body.
So some people, as their body changes, or even, maybe their body their whole lives, they keep a positive perspective on what's happening. And other people don't have that very positive perspective. Any idea why that is? Like, what differences in personality, what differences in choices, what differences in self-talk exist that create that outcome? Some people having a negative perspective of what's happening, and some people having a positive perspective of what's happening.
In coaching, we talk about a world view, right?
Mm-hmm.
A world view. And some people's world view is based around, it could be someone's comment about you, right? Someone judging you, and you internalize it and take it personally. I remember one time years ago when I was dancing, I was in a workshop, and this gentleman, his name was Kevin Jeff. He was a phenomenal choreographer and dancer. He said, an opinion is criticism is only someone else's opinion about you. So it's not true, right? It's only someone else's opinion. An opinion, everyone has one. It doesn't make it true. It doesn't make it false. I also feel like part of what's happening for folks is the mindset. So if you don't have positive mindset practices, that impacts you. So you have two types of mindset. There's a fixed mindset, there's a growth mindset. The fixed mindset is the one that's closed, the one that doesn't learn anything new, the one that stays in a negative mindset. And then you have the growth mindset, the one that's always open to learning, to shifting, to taking in new ideas, new concepts, to shift and grow their mindset. So it's up to you as an individual to seek or to step into wanting to be a better person, and what are the options for you? Are you going to get out your comfort zone, right? Because some people don't ever want to get out their comfort zone, and life happens outside the comfort zone.
One thing I kind of find interesting that I'd love to hear your perspective on, because you are, a sexability coach, kind of a life coach, but you also have been for years a physical trainer. So you're kind of in a weird role where, for some people you're helping them get the body they want through diet, exercise, etc. And some people you're helping them find the right mindset to be happy with the body they already have. So I guess when you're working with people, how do you find the balance, or how do you find, that point as to how much effort should you put into improving your body, right? Because it truthfully is good to diet and exercise and give yourself a better body. That is a positive thing that'll help you live a better, more active, healthy, happy life, right? But of course, you also want to be in a place where you're happy with the body you have. And I think for a lot of people, kind of these negative feelings about their body is what motivates them to change their body. So I guess the question is, how much weight do you put in adjusting your mindset and being happy with the body you have? And how much weight do you put in, adjusting diet and exercise to give yourself the body you want and give yourself a better body, right?
Yes. And what you're saying is very interesting, right? It depends on the individual. It depends on the individual. I personally feel that when you change your mind, everything else shifts from there. So it's the mindset that's key. However, some people take the back road. Some people may start working out and then realize, hey, um, there may become an opening for them to now get into some other practices. Oh, let me go here, or let me do this, or let me explore that. And it depends. When I work as a trainer, and working with people as a fitness professional, I can see some people, you literally, it's through the fitness, and then you can turn them, right? Turn their mind, shift their mindset, or shift them into positive mindset practices. And then I had a client like this. She was doing my hair for 2 years, and we would talk about all these different things. We talk about weight related issues, working out, nutrition, how to approach it. 2 years we worked together, her on doing my hair before she stepped into the gym with me. And she didn't want to work in the gym. She didn't like the gym. She was heavy. She didn't feel comfortable in the gym. However, we eventually got there. So it was the coaching her for in conversation while she did my hair for 2 years before she actually got to the gym. And that really, once she got her mind right, she got into the gym, she started seeing the results, and it shifted all other aspects of her, the way she processed information. So it just depends on the individual. There's no right formula for anyone. Everyone is different. It's all very personalized. That's why, you do the one-on-one coaching, and you do the one-on-one training, and hopefully you have the right fit for the coach and the fitness professional that's going to actually support you in getting to your end goal. Some people just go to the gym or work out for working out, and then they may go to their coach for coaching. It's not easy to say what will work. It's just like they say, you put it all in and throw it against the wall and see what sticks.
Interesting, Mary. You said something which I think it might be the reverse of what a lot of people believe. You said that, the ultimate goal and the ultimate purpose is achieving that proper mindset. But some people kind of take the back road there, and they start with getting, working on their body, and they start with the gym, and that kind of helps lead them to that right mindset. I think for a lot of people, they see it the reverse way, where they see the end goal is have a better body, eat better, and exercise. And if you want to take the mindset approach to get there, that's fine, or you can go directly to better body. But it definitely positions like the physical, tangible, eating, exercising, better body as the end goal, and better mindset is simply a path to get there. It sounds like you're positioning the other way, where the end goal is a better mindset, and if you want to use diet and exercise to help you get there, that's fine. Is that correct?
No, I really believe the way it should, the way I think the best way is what works for the individual. It's the
Mhm.
mind. In the Bible it says, "As a man thinketh, so is he." As a man thinketh, so is he. So it's your thoughts that support everything else that you do. And in transformational work I did, they they always start out with something called a be, do, have. Most people want to have, do, and be, right? They figure if I have this, I can do that, and then I'll be at peace, or I'll be fulfilled. But it really is the opposite. When I get my mind in a place that I am fulfilled, then I get to do what I want to do, to have what I want to have. So it's a be your beingness, then how you are being when you're doing what you want to do, or working at doing, and then have what you ultimately want to have. And that's what it is. Be at peace, be fulfilled, be happy, be joyful. When you approach everything from that space, then what you're doing is from that space, and then you get to have the end result, the outcome you're looking to have.
So to put that in terms of body, a lot of people want to have a, slim, attractive, athletic body. They want to do, eating and exercising. And then once that's done, then they'll be confident and fulfilled. But you're
Yeah,
saying it's the reverse. First, get yourself confident, fulfilled, then start doing the right things. And then the last thing in the chain is that you'll have the body that you wanted.
And that first thing starts with the mind. The
Yeah.
mind supports you in how you are being.
Yeah. That's interesting. So if you're someone who in your entire life, that mind part, that B part, is you've always been self-conscious, you've always been discontented, you've always been negative about your body. I mean, surely you can't just flip a switch and say, okay, I'm positive about myself now, right? What are some of the, I guess, steps that you can take to get to that point?
It's being present. It's asking myself, is that true? Is that true? Is it true that I'm fat and like unattractive? Is that true? And you got to go look in the mirror. Ask yourself, right? Is that true? And is that true for who? Is that true for me or is that true for other people? Right? So the steps I feel people can do is they start with mindset practices, right? So I have a few mindset practices that I actually spoke about in my webinar last week. And it really supports you with to reflect and think about what skills you have and what you're good at, right? Journaling for 21 days is great because you get to, I feel when people journal, it helps them to purge their mind. Most people, when you talk to them about journaling, they're like, oh, I don't know what to write. I feel like when you journal, whatever you would sit and talk about, complain about, or whatever to anyone, that's what you get to write out. I had a terrible day today. It wasn't that great. I had a wonderful day today. It was amazing. Just act as if you talking to someone, your best friend about what's happening. And the other thing is you get to learn new strategies, learn new ways of doing things, right? So here we go. We we picked the first thing I said, which is get out of your comfort zone. Comfort zone is and learn something new. That's major. That's one. Two is reflect and think about what skills you have and what you're good at. Right? And you get to write that down on a paper. Most people, when they do this, they'll have one side of the paper full of negative things and the other side of the paper full, not very full of good things. And you gotta get it where you're having more positive thoughts about what you're good at and less negative thoughts about what you're not, what you have about yourself. Okay. Three is journal for 21 days, as if you're talking to a friend. And the third is take action. So take action. Small steps, small incremental changes leads to big shifts. So if every day I decided I was going to give myself a mini vacation for 30 minutes every day. Here's a fifth one, right? Every day I commit to giving myself a mini vacation for 30 minutes. Each day I take 30 minutes to myself in whatever way that is. It could be in one of these practices I said, learning something new, journaling, whatever, going for a walk outside. If you did that every single day for a year, you would be a completely different person because now you've taken these practices and applied them. You've moved yourself from the background, put yourself in the foreground. You've prioritized yourself. You've put yourself on a pedestal. You've made yourself the most important person in your life. And now you are able to share from a full cup, from a cup that's overflowing instead of from an empty cup, because now you're fulfilled and your cup overfloweth. And as I heard Miss Iyanla Vanzant say, when your cup is full, that's for you. When your cup overflows, it's for everyone else. And she says, when you give from an empty cup, you are making that person a thief. So you have to make sure your cup is filled. And how do you do that? You apply these practices that I just shared.
So, first one I think you said was learn something new, right? Do something new.
To get out the comfort zone
Yeah,
where nothing isn't
interesting.
happening, right? That's the fixed mindset.
Yeah. And I imagine that helps just kind of grow someone's confidence, right? When they see themselves succeed at something new, even something small, it helps build that confidence that they'll need further on. It's cool. Um,
Absolutely.
and then you said second one. I think I forgot what the second one was.
Reflect.
Okay, yep, that's the
Reflect and
reflection.
think about what skills you have and what you're good at.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, what you're good at, skills, reflection. Third one,
Is to journal.
journaling. Yep, that was
Journal for 21 days, not 2 days, 21 days. At least you can build some sort of momentum there, right? It takes about
yeah.
15 days to get acclimated with something. Yeah.
And that'll help you get to that mindset, that be part of the equation, right? So then you can start doing the right things. So then you can have the things that you want to have.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Here's something interesting. You talk about how getting the right mindset of confidence and self-love and positivity being the end goal, and you have to get there before you can start doing the right things, such as dieting and exercising, so that you can have the body you want. Um, I may be off base on this, but I'm pretty sure that for the majority of people, what motivates them to diet and exercise is some form of self-hate, self-loathing, self-negativity, right? They look in the mirror, they hate what they see, and that's what motivates them to eat less that day. And that's not what you're talking about. You're talking about finding positivity first and then using positivity about yourself to motivate yourself to change. But isn't that a little backwards from what most people do? Don't most people use negativity to motivate themselves to change? And I guess, how do you flip that? How do you use loving yourself as motivation to change yourself? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I don't know if you have a point there about the self-loathing. I don't know if everyone is coming from that place, but I do feel that yes, it's something you see about yourself that you don't like, that you want to improve. It may not be always be self-loathing, but it might be like, okay, I see that this is I'm stressed. Let me go exercise. I'm putting on a few pounds. Let me go exercise. So that may be the catalyst of it. And I am saying that it really is about having a mindset of self-appreciation, self self-appreciation, and respecting your body, respecting your mind, respecting your spirit, respecting who you are, because the body itself is an organism, right? You have miniature organelles, which are thinking entities inside your cells, right? Your muscles, your whole body is a living organism. So if I'm self-loathing and I don't like myself and I keep telling myself I'm not good enough, I'm still fat, I'm still this, and I'm doing all of this eating right and exercising, there's going to be a breakdown. There's going to be why am I doing this? Nothing is, because you're not even appreciating the shifts, the small shifts that you're having. And this is, I've seen this. I had a client like this. I worked with her for 11 years, and we would work diligently to get 10 pounds off. And every year when she went on vacation, she would gain this 10 pounds back or 15 pounds back. And we would have to spend a whole year. And once she did the major drop in her weight, we couldn't get past a certain weight. And that's because she never was happy with her body. She could never appreciate what her body was doing. She could never get there. She was, and because she could never, I told her one time, I said, if you went to work and your boss was constantly drilling on you and telling you negative things and you weren't good enough and you weren't this, and how would you react? Would you be motivated? She said no. And I said, well, that's how your body is. And that's what people got to take into account. If you're constantly picking at your body, criticizing your body is never going to give you what you want to give it. It's going to respond to oh, you look great today. Oh, we slept well last night. Oh, I managed this really well. That's why the journaling is so good, because you can do the introspection about, I did this today and I was able to manage this way. I did that. this was good.
What would you say to someone who their whole life has used negativity to motivate themselves to change, right? So again, using self-loathing to motivate yourself to eat less and to exercise. I feel like people in that state, if their whole lives they've used negativity to motivate themselves to change, they might be, whether consciously or unconsciously, they might be scared to adopt this body positivity stuff because their mind is going, are you kidding me? If I stop hating myself, I'd start eating 3 bags of potato chips a day and I'd never get on that treadmill again. And I'd fall off the bandwagon. I don't want to let myself go like that. And they're afraid to embrace body positivity because they feel like once they're positive about their body, their motivation will go away because in the past, their motivation always came from negativity. What would you say to someone who had that mindset?
Well, first of all, I feel like most people that's in that mindset are more than likely not able to do that on their own. They would need coaching. They would need to go through a transformational program, something where they're constantly reinforced for a good 6 months or more that that's keeping them within in the rails. But to do it on your own is a massive undertaking because you don't know what you don't know. And most people can't see themselves. We all have blind spots. Even I have a coach. I have a few coaches. I have 2 or 3 coaches. But we all have blind spots. And your coach is going to support you with the blind spot. And that's the great thing about coaching is because we ask thought-provoking questions that allow the person to reflect and come up with their own answers because we believe the individual have their own answers. You may get stuck here and there, and a lot of times this is why the journaling and supports you, and you can also maybe sit on something a couple of days later and be like, wow, I get it, I see it. So it's not that type of that person. What I'm hearing you say is that person is in a fixed mindset. They're set on being that particular way because they're not willing to try anything else. They're not open and willing to take a different approach. However, if they are willing, they would have to be vulnerable, is the word, to try another program, a transformational program. They would get to try coaching and see what works. And every program don't work. It's like dating. I always tell people coaching, going to different programs is like dating. You have to try the ones until you find the ones that that fit.
I guess as a last bonus question here, right? What are some of your favorite, I guess, resources when it comes to, achieving confidence, positivity, better mindset? I mean, this could be a book that you love listening to, a podcast, a YouTube channel, really anything, right? What do you turn to when you're feeling low to get your mindset right?
I have a number of things. What do I turn to? Meditation is always a go-to for me. So I meditation helps. Journaling supports me big time. Journaling is definitely where I go. And I like to I go to YouTube and I listen to like 528 hertz music, or I listen to Tibetan chimes, stuff that kind of like centers your being. And when it's really bad for me, I definitely call one of my coaching buddies or someone that I can really work things through with. Or I call my coach and we talk it through. So that those are things, and exercising, of course, that helps me a lot. Taking a nice walk with to myself. I can be upset, and if I go take a nice long walk or exercise, I feel so much better.
Cool. And I've also used that quite a bit. That's kind of my go-to. If I'm in a rough spot in my mental health, usually, long walk or even a short jog does the trick.
Mhm.
All right. Pardon me. Well, I'm sure that a lot of people listening to Natascha are going to want to connect with you, to get to know you at the very least, and maybe even to talk to you about, working with you. So what is the best way for people to get in contact with you?
If someone wants to get in contact with me, Immediately, I would say you can email me, info@natashahardee.com. I'm on Instagram at Hardee Life. That's HARD as in delightful, two E's as in exciting, Life, Hardee Life. And you can catch me on LinkedIn at Natascha Hardee. Natascha Hardee on LinkedIn. That's again NATASCHAHARDEE. And if anyone wants to connect with me, I'm having a webinar every Friday. I call it Hot High Tea with Natascha Hardee. And email me, and I will get you the link so you can be in the webinar and talk with us about hot topics related to the 50 plus woman.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Natascha.